Je suis Daniel Brissot, professeur à Grenoble INP et coordonnateur de l'atelier de réflexion prospective Future Prod. On en parlera plusieurs fois dans la journée. Donc nous avons organisé cette journée avec Jean-Pierre Chevalier de la manière suivante. Vous avez le programme. Dans un premier temps, deux exemples internationaux qui, dans certains pays, y a déjà pris quelque avance, en quelque sorte, sur la programmation scientifique en lien avec les systèmes de production. Donc cette première partie est d'en avoir pris deux parmi tous ceux qui avaient déjà fait quelque chose pour pouvoir savoir ce qu'ils font. Dans un deuxième temps, ce matin, nous avons une table ronde d'industriels pour voir comment les industriels voient l'évolution des systèmes de production. Nous passerons ensuite, après le déjeuner, à un aspect plus recherche française, et nous avons demandé à 4 de nos collègues qui n'étaient pas membres de l'ARP de venir présenter leur vision des systèmes de production pour le futur. Et je reprendrai la parole en fin de journée, de manière à vous montrer où on en est dans l'atelier Future Prod. Alors, je vous propose de commencer tout de suite par cette première partie de la matinée. Nous l'avons appelée un peu pompeusement benchmark international. C'est plutôt des témoignages de 2 de nos collègues étrangers sur ce qui se fait dans leur pays. Je voudrais d'abord donc inviter le professeur Weskamper à venir donc présenter ses travaux. Le professeur Weskamper a étudié le génie mécanique à Aaron, puis il a travaillé dans l'industrie aéronautique et dans l'industrie électronique, avant de venir travailler à l'université de Braunschweig en 1988. Ensuite, en 1995, il va à Stuttgart, et c'est là qu'il est connu pour être le directeur de l'Institut du management et de la production industrielle, en français IFF, et aussi l'exécutif directeur du Fraunhofer, associé à ce poste-là, qui là aussi en français c'est IPA, quoi. Professeur Weskamper est donc un des principales personnes impliquées dans la plateforme européenne Manufutur. Il est membre du High Level Group de Manufutur et il est aussi membre honoraire du conseil d'administration de l'EFRA. Il est retraité depuis 2011, mais il est toujours actif dans toutes les stratégies pour la production 2030 en Europe. Donc il va vous présenter plutôt la vision Manufutur. Voilà. Merci, professeur Weskamper.
Yeah, thank you very much. Sorry that I don't speak French, but English, and I hope you understand. I would like to give you some visions coming out from discussions we have in our European technology platform called Manufuture, and we are just discussing future orientations toward that, what we call Manufacturing 2030. Manufuture is a European technology platform founded 10 years ago and oriented to change industry and manufacturing industry from mainly cost orientation to that what we would like to have, competition in the global world and sustainability for the future orientation. These are our main objectives, and I would like to tell you today some backgrounds and some visions we have which we are formulating in the moment, and we will publish them, I think, during this year. So, coming back to the situation of Europe, we have here 40 years decreasing value in manufacturing. 40 years, nearly all industrialized areas, Europe's as well as US, have a strong and permanent reduction of adding value coming from manufacturing industry, calculated by the internal product BIP called. And we have, we think, to fight against this because of the problems we get from this way, and the prognostic may be that we will reach in 10, 15 years or 20 years only 10%. And taking into account that around about 30 million humans are working directly for manufacturing industries in Europe directly, and more than 80 million people are doing work around manufacturing in the so-called manufacturing-related service areas. We have to fight against this deindustrialization, and the question is, how can we do it, and where are the innovations for the future? Looking into the situation of innovation in Europe, Europe is not just one region with the same infrastructure and the same power in innovations. We have basics and central areas in Central Europe, but we have many, many problems in South Europe, and we have many problems of unemployment. We have areas where the unemployment of young people is nearly around about 50%. Half of them don't get a job and have no hope to get a job in the next years. It's a time to do some things, and not only to wait where are the key enabling technologies, maybe they come from the heaven. We have to make them. We are in an engineers industry and engineers area of the economies, and we have to play a role to fight against this. And we would like to see Europe in a leading position in the future, Europe with its long tradition and history in manufacturing. There was work from around about 10 years. We started 2002 with discussing future vision. We made a so-called strategic research agenda, and we finished the first part 2009 in the crisis, where it was possible to convince the European Union to give us support by a program called Factory of the Future. We were ready with ideas just in 2009, and this helped a little bit. This helped a little bit to get new visions and to get a big program in Europe. It's a program of around about 1.2 billion euro, and a lot of companies and a lot of projects are there already running. In the moment, the situation is unclear. There are some regions in Europe which are increasing. My region, for example, Stuttgart, is southwest of Germany, with its more small and medium-oriented manufacturing industries. But there are many others who are not the winners in this under this global aspect. And we have to look for that, what can help us and bring us in the future and give us orientation to 2030. And that is where we are working on manufacturing oriented 10, 15 years ahead. We do this under the impact of many so-called megatrends. All of these megatrends influence the structure and the development of manufacturing. Yes, all of them, in direct or indirect way. This is, for example, aging. People become older. I myself too, I'm retired now. But there are others who think that their living time will be more than 90 years. We calculate the babies now for 100 years. People become older, but on the same time we have the so-called individualism. People like to have their individual programs, their individual projects, their individual products, and we think that it is possible to customize all manufacturing areas in the future, this individualism, how to live, how to use products and have a special orientation and our special requirements in each product we use. Knowledge in the global ICT, knowledge is spread around the world very fast, very fast. We all do in everything in research to transfer our results around the world. And when we see that the world is connected by ICT systems, that is clear that global operating companies, OEMs called, try to realize the same manufacturing standards, the same products wherever they are produced in the world. Wherever they are produced in the world, the same quality standards, the same basic technologies they use for their manufacturing, and there's no more a differentiation in this global world. We have the fact of globalization. The markets are global and they influence the structure, they influence the way of selling products, they influence the services, they influence the life cycle of each product. We have the urbanization problem in the world. More than half of the world population is living in mega cities, 10 million people and more. Our mega cities have big problems in traffic. Our mega cities have big problems in the environmental aspects. And our mega cities, in some cases, have big problems in employment, mainly in the lower sectors. It's clear that we have to look how to bring back manufacturing to fields where people are living. How to bring manufacturing there to that places where people are living and would like to do their work nearly in the near of home. A lot of questions for us manufacturers are coming. What's about noise? What's about emissions? What's about water? What's about the traffic? What's about the logistic system in the megacities? A lot of questions are coming from this point. Sustainability, it is clear everybody is speaking about that. Everybody of you knows that the costs of material, the costs of energy as main resources for manufacturing are increasing, and we expect more and more problems with some critical materials like rare earths or some very specific materials we use for our products in the future. Some of them are over the peak already, and we need substitutions to substitute some materials. Of course, the influence of the finance market, everybody knows this, was one cause of the crisis, but it influences the investment of companies, the investment of enterprises, the investment for running costs, the liquidity of companies, and a lot of effects we learned in the past which influence the way manufacturers can go in the future. Public debt. To bring back the public money, we have to increase the tax. And who is paying the tax? That people who work, who add value, and that people who pay tax for their business. So that we see that even under these objectives, even the pressure on costs in manufacturing and calculation will become higher. Effect for manufacturing. So that in general, we think there is a new orientation necessary, which is not only the focus on single and specific technologies, it is the change of industrial thinking and the change of orientations. From cost orientation to sustainability and competition in the global world. These are our main factors. Of course, it is clear that for this we need research as an enabler, but we need even the infrastructure, the economic infrastructure around the places where we do our manufacturing. We need education for the future requirements for the work, and we need the policy, and we need maybe even some aspects of standardization I would like to speak about later. Coming back to manufacturing and the role of manufacturers, the role of manufacturers is clear. The engineers industry are able to make factories where the production is made, whatever companies produce. The role of that who make any equipment for manufacturing is a very critical one. They influence the productivity, they influence the systems, how to work, and this is clear that we have two orientations in this field of manufacturing. One is that blue-oriented, product requirements with emergent technologies, high speed, high end, high efficient manufacturing systems. And we see the others as the user industry, who are making automobiles, for example, who are making aeroplanes or planes and aircraft equipment, who make ships, who make shoes, who make textiles, whatever. We think these are the user industries for manufacturing results. The field of the investment good industry, which is in the horizontal area, is a very strong one, because we think they can make the solutions and the factories of the future in which people would like to work in the future. These are around about 40 industrial sectors in Europe, 40. You see them here all. I would not like to explain them very strong, but beside of that, there is a material-oriented industry who makes the basic materials. It is not only steel and aluminum. These are even a lot of very high specialized basics we need for our products. These are the industries around which make the services. And here's the first orientation, that manufacturing is not more only oriented to making products. Manufacturing is oriented to the life cycle of each product. We would like to give the orientation that each manufacturer takes over responsibilities for each technical product from birth to the end of life, and bringing back material as much as possible, nearly everything, and do it in the best economic and best in the high efficient way. The problem we have in manufacturing is a high diversity and high differentiation of all this in the different sectors and branches, and we try to find out the main aspects where we could concentrate our visions and concentrate our future orientations. But at the end of it, we need growth, but we can do it by different ways. First of all, we think the most important factor in manufacturing is the customer, is the market. These are the markets. And the customization, first of all, is the main orientation where we can handle here and now and at this time. Strengthen and bringing our orientation in all management system, all business systems, first of all, to customization. Second, we need leadership in Europe, in this global world. To win this competition in the world, we need leadership in everything, not only in some specific technologies, in everything which is required for products. We should do all the best. Second, global standards are required. We are in a global world, and we can influence the standardization policy. We can influence the standardizations, the standards, and can set them in manufacturing. European manufacturers have a long tradition of around about 100 years, and this place you have much more, nearly with meters, nearly 300 years or 250 years. However, we can set the standards for manufacturing, economic, ecologic, social standards, and maybe even some others which influence specific areas. A European policy would be very helpful to have a clear standardization policy for Europe, oriented to the factory and the manufacturing of the future, and develop the standards and use all our brain to make the best standards for the future, high efficiency and others. And for us, we defined 4 topic ideas, main ideas I would like to present you now, where they are and what we think. Taking into account, we think there are 4 roundabout major topics, how we could our factories orient in 10, 15 years. The first is seeing factories as a good neighbor, not in the green field, in the desert, or far away from the places where people are living, bringing them back to the cities, bringing them back to that areas where the unemployment is highest, where the youth need, young people need help, orientation, bringing back manufacturing. It's the first statement we have, but doing this, it is clear factories should be seen as a good neighbor with all our brain and technical support we can give and bring them back in the urban environment. Second, let's look and optimize the value chains. It is not a law in the world that we have to transport all our products and components around the world every day and permanent just in time. Let's speak about the value chains in the life from the customer to the end of to the finished product. And let's reduce the steps in these value chains. I will show you a little bit later. Factories in a network, optimize networking, including regional network and finding synergies in regions. Cooperations in regions, and focus on that, what we can do best, and how to cooperate and win some advantages in regional cooperation. Factory and nature, let's look to the nature and make our factories lean, clean, and green. The manufacturers inside this group here know what it is lean. It is oriented to lowest loss of anything, of loss of resources during manufacturing. Make them clean. This covers to hazardous materials, reducing hazardous materials in manufacturing, and green, this is reflecting to the efficiency of material and energy, mainly, but some points more. Energy and material as main resources of the future. And last but not least, we think that we are living in an ICT, in an information and communication world. Let's look for that ideas where information and communication technology can help us to get to come to another generation of manufacturing. It is clear that around of this we have a lot of other aspects. Of course, we still have to increase our innovation in products and processes. We think that is necessary. It is necessary to see that engineers are the driving forces. Knowledge-based engineering is one of the main requirements. Do engineering better, do engineering in the way customers need it, and do engineering in a more efficient way. I come from a region, Baden-Württemberg in Deutschland, in Germany, which has its manufacturing-oriented industry today around about 18% of all employees as engineers. 18%. 10 years ago, this were only 8%. We expect, by going on, next time that this will become increased to 25 up to 30% when all these effects are coming, like customization, like the way of system and technical orientation. So the efficiency of engineers' work, is one of the main objectives in the internal development. And engineers need knowledge, but engineers need tools to do their work more efficient and come to the best practice and best solutions. I told about new business models, taking into account that we try to optimize the life cycle of each technical product and let the manufacturers in a responsibility of each technical product, as I said, in the world. It is clear that this orientation to the life cycle includes the product-oriented services. And there are a lot of fields to support the customers via usage of their products, to bring the products back, or to give additional services around. We think this is one of the expanding areas along the life cycle. And for that we need, of course, ICT, and we need, of course, tools, systems to follow each product in its technical life cycle orientation. And last but not least, infrastructure. That is everything around of the factories. And this is a cost factor. We have not only to concentrate our work to the logistic, to the traffic system. We have to take into account that there are relations between manufacturers and universities, relations to many, many organizations around. Some of them cost money, some of them cost time. And we could try to bring them together and to get more efficiency in the networking around. For this, I think it is necessary even to speak about future orientation, what is necessary in research, which role research can play, not only in basic research, but even application-oriented. I will give you some remarks a little bit later. This is our main orientation. I could now discuss or give you some ideas what's behind, but it would take too long time, and I would like to reduce a little bit. I think you can imagine what is behind of this, but we have defined what is behind this networking thinking, high adding value factories as a part of the communities, integrated in their field around. There's one field where we could do a lot of things. With the life cycle orientation between manufacturer and user, only some remarks, I go very fast through. The orientation to the life cycle, the material life cycle, the whole field from raw materials, material bringing back to the end. It is necessary to do that now under the influence of the megatrends I showed you before. Lean, clean, green, a lot of fields where we could operate, where manufacturing and engineers are requested to find solutions, find innovations, how to do that better. I can tell you that is a market behind. It's a world market for solutions. It's a world market for solutions in environmental technology used for manufacturing. One of the most expanding areas we have in the moment in this time. But some other points are here on the table. I will give you all these slides later. Concentration on engineers. Engineers like to overcome limitations. Engineers like to overcome limitation faster and better, high precision and others. But we should take into account that it is not only mechanical engineering. We are working interdisciplinary. Our technical products are complex technical systems which have mechanical, electrical, electronics, ICT, software technologies, and we try to make this production so that they are able to fulfill customers' requirements, which are different in each case. But for this, we need the basic technologies. We see that we need advanced materials, nanoscale technologies, cognition-based ICT for this orientation to knowledge management and knowledge as a factor, and intelligent mechatronic systems. We should see that for manufacturing engineers, the engineering area is the key technology. The engineering skill, the engineering efficiency is one of the key technologies. And here are a lot of boundaries to overcome them, makes a lot of sense. Let's give you one idea to this digital world. More and more manufacturers are making their products already in a digital world. We are able even to make our factories in a digital way, and think that both worlds have to come together. Computers are very flexible technical solutions, but they take everything you put in, even knowledge which is reliable or not, which has defects. What we would like to have in the future is a relation of the computers to the reality. We call it in Germany industry, the next industrial revolution, bringing computers with sensors and others to the reality and let them present the reality as it is, and not only how we think it should be. And this requires engineering in a digital environment, this requires administration in a digital requirement, and this reflects on the technical intelligence on the shop floor and the combination and cooperation with each technical product. So, one remark to the system of research. I think it is very important. When we change our paradigms from the past to new orientations, I think the one main group where the peoples are who influence it are the academic-oriented research centers, the universities, and we have to see that in this situation we need all the brain, all the forces to overcome the crisis in Europe as one point, and next to get solutions for the longer future with this orientation I showed to you. It is necessary to find solutions which makes research much more efficient and having in mind not only academic orientations in research, but even applications in mind in everything what we can do. Every time application in mind, even when we start with basics. What I speak about is a revolution in the academic area. But I think it is necessary to speak about such points. Otherwise, a lot of our brain goes maybe in a library or wherever. We think it is a time where we have to create value and where we need contributions to fight against unemployment, especially in that regions in Europe which are far behind the state of the art. Of course, I am sure that we can win this in this global environment by a European way. Export and import are areas in this global world when we would have a European community and European business systems, competitive, sustainable in manufacturing, we could transfer this around the world. We could come to a leading positions, even with influence on that what happens in the global economy. But we should set the standards. We should set the standards in sustainability, having sustainable solutions, and try to come over and go ahead with ICT-based services. So I come to my conclusions. I told you some of the results of our running discussions in Europe. We think we all are thinking that we must stop this deindustrialization. We see the megatrends influence the structure, but they are even the situation where we can change and where we could go ahead with new ideas and influence the future development. I showed you the major topics like we discussed in the moment. I showed you that we are in the digital age. I showed you that we have the possibility in research, education, support them with a European infrastructure. 400 billion euro is the Commission discussing in this budget infrastructure. It is a lot, and we should bring it together with industrial development in the regions, and we have a lot of ideas how we could do that. This infrastructure program would be one good opportunity to help and to support especially that regions which are a little bit behind, focusing on education, focusing on research, focusing on infrastructure which is required for manufacturing, focusing on services for manufacturers, public-oriented and public support, including the governmental areas. And I'm sure that we have a chance to win the future. Thank you very much.